Squeeze the sides, it pops open, I'm not talking about there.
Shut up, you cunt. Pissed off. Nick's wife turned up, picked him up, he's gone. He was in a mood.
Do you reckon he'll be back?
He's always in a mood, yeah, to be fair, moody twat.
Do you reckon he'll be back?
I think he always has been. He leaves about every fucking year and then never...
Yeah, but he seemed pretty...
He seemed a bit final. I think this was the final straw for him. Unless it's the boy who cried wolf. I don't know.
Well,
Wait, it's just... It's too early in the morning for this shit.
Yeah. I haven't got my phone. Will someone please just order an Uber? I'm standing around here, I'm cold, and I want to go home and have a bath.
You got any signal?
No.
I'll do it.
We don't know when they're going to open up. It could be a week, it could be 2 weeks,
Could be
it could be a month.
I don't know, yeah.
We don't know. And until then, of course, we've paid out for all the trucks, the tour bus, all of that stuff, all our gear's still in the equipment, so we don't know, we don't know how long that's going to take to get back.
How serious is this? What is it? Virus? What is it? Flu? What is it?
It must be serious if they've cancelled gigs and football matches and shit like that. It must be serious. I don't really know.
I bet you we never even know a single person that's even got it, and it's all a load of bollocks.
Well, I don't know anyone who's had it.
No.
I booked several weeks off to follow you on tour. What am I going to do then?
Make a documentary. Well, I don't know. I suppose we get home and wait to hear what's going on.
Speak to Kieran.
Speak to Kieran.
Who's Kieran?
Kieran's our manager. You haven't met him yet because he doesn't really come out on the tour. He just runs it from his fucking Ivory Castle, wherever he is. Is it Ivory Castle or Ivory Tower? One of them.
Elephant and Castle.
Elephant and Castle. Yeah, he runs it from there. But
so, just for the tape, what's your name and tell me what you do.
My name's it's David Dominy Fowler, but everyone knows me as Dave Dominy, and they call me Curly Fries because I'm in the Space Potatoes and my hair is curly. Whoever came up with that particular nickname literally deserves a Nobel Prize for literacy.
Your nice blue Stratocaster there.
Stratocruiser. That's a plane. It is, it's an old plane from the 50s.
Telestrat?
Telestrat.
Okay.
Telepal.
My name is Ricky, but people call me Spud, and I play drums for Space Potatoes.
How did you get together?
Wow. Dave and I, both in our previous bands, played at a little tiny venue called the Red Eye in Islington. We were on a bill with two other just horrendous bands, and I remember Dave and I bumped into each other at the bar. It's since transpired that he didn't like my band and I didn't like his band.
I was in a band called Juice with a guy called Nick Marnie and a guy called Andrews, and we were a three-piece band, and to be fair, we were particularly spectacular.
But we just got chatting about guitars and things, and it turns out we both have a mutual love of the Shadows and Blur.
We would go in there and we would piss on everyone. We would walk in there and we would just get on the stage, and from the moment it was the sound check, we made people scared. They just did not want to play with us. They didn't want...
He was a really lovely guy. He was very sort of upbeat about music and really passionate about his band and where he was going to take them, and they didn't go anywhere.
I think we did piss on them. They don't think we pissed on them, but I think we did. But it had this singer in it called Chris, who's just, I mean, he was fun and he was great, and I thought his songs were shit. I'll be honest with you, I thought his songs were shit.
We kept in touch, and this is, you know, feels like years ago now, but we just kept in touch over the smallest of did you see this? This has just come out, and this DVD and this box set's come out. Have you got it yet? And
we're literally pissing on people. Well, not literally pissing on people. We're pissing all over them musically, and then it's gonna break. It's gonna go wrong at some point, you know. And it all went wrong. I mean, it just kind of exploded.
Juice had kind of fell apart. He was involved in the Dean Howard band, which is Ricky, our drummer. It's his dad, and it's a band that Dave he was kind of the driving force, as Dave is with things.
We'd literally just finished pissing all over them, but not literally. But I loved him. He was fucking brilliant. He was like my mate. He came up, he was instantly like my brother. As fucking God sent me this geezer to fucking work with, and it was like it was destined to be.
And the phone rang one day, and it was Dave, and he was, "What are you up to?" So I said, "Oh, well, you know, just had a baby, not much."
I was in bands, you know, in school bands and metal bands, you know, prior to Space Potatoes. I had the long hair and everything, which looked terrible. I used to be a security guard, wasn't a very good one. And then Dave asked me to join in 2005 to be a drummer. I thought I was going to be replaced, but they never replaced me, so I've kind of been here ever since.
It was meant to be me and Chris writing. We had Nick come in on bass, who was in Juice with me, and then I got my mate's son in. End of 2004, early 2005, and drum programming had really, you know, drum programming really got good back in those days. So I started like doing demos by programming drums, and to be honest, that's never really changed. I still program the drums to the day, but live, obviously, we're not going to have a fucking computer on stage playing the drums. I mean, it just looks stupid, you know. So my mate Dean, you know, his son played drums. I said, "Do you want to come in and whack some, you know, play some drums live until we get a, you know, a better drummer or whatever?" And again, one of those things, just laziness has stuck him around, you know. I think he'd be too difficult to move as well.
I'm Kieran Payne, and I'm the manager of the Space Potatoes.
Just got off the phone with Nick, and I'm going to be honest with you, and I'll cut straight to the chase. He's gone. Nick has decided to leave the band. He wants a clean break. He wants to take a bit of Nick time, just have to think about himself, and suggest that you don't get in touch with him.
What the fuck is Nick time?
That's ridiculous.
What's he got to be a wet lettuce?
Look, I suggest what we need to do as a band and as a team is to move forward and start looking at a new bass player.
Yeah,
but Nick's he's a fundamental part of the Space Potatoes. That's ridiculous.
I've known him since I was 19 years old, and you're saying I can't call him?
Look, I know he's an original spud. He's going through some stuff at the moment, and we don't know what to do. I mean, the one thing we do need to do, though, is he used to do all the translation for us when we were in France, didn't he? So, do you guys got any thoughts on what we can do about that? I mean, I can talk to the promoters if needs be, but what do you think?
Well, they're going to charge, aren't they, for translation services?
I'd rather not spend the money.
Particularly when we don't know when we'll be back on the road. So, Ricky, can you speak French?
Me?
Yeah.
Not a clue. I don't even know what the French word for rendezvous is. Why are you laughing?
Yeah, have you heard from Nick since you saw him in the car park that day?
I've not spoken to him personally. Dave and Chris might have, but I've not actually spoken to him since we actually got back from Europe.
Is Nick definitely out then?
I can't see him coming back. I can't see him coming. I mean, he hasn't really had the success out of the band that the rest of us has, or at least me and Chris, because he hasn't really contributed as much. And I think for him, he threatens to leave all the time, and he's got married and he's had kids and all those fucking silly distractions that they have. So yeah, I don't think he's cut out for it anymore. And it doesn't mean I don't love him like a brother. We shared fucking 20 years of music together, and it's absolutely amazing. But I think 2020 was his break year. We were going to get here, do our big tour of the 10-year anniversary of our big single, And it hasn't worked out, has it? Let's face it, we can't do the 2020 Rendezvous tour in 2021. That's just going to be fucking stupid.
Everything that we talk about in today's session is confidential.
Right.
There are limits to that confidentiality. So if you were to disclose to me that you were going to make a credible attempt on your life, so if you were going to go away from this session, either harm yourself or someone else, I can't keep that confidential as I have a duty of care to keep you safe.
Can't see that happening.
You can't see that happening?
Can't see that happening, no. There's a lot of things I could do, but killing myself, that would be too much of a loss for the planet, to be honest.
Okay. Obviously, there are times when I have to break confidentiality in terms of if you're involved in terrorism, trafficking, that sort of thing. That's a case where we just have to report it.
Worst I'm going to do is write a bad song. I wouldn't worry about that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
So,
thinking back to those early days, you know, the success of Monday and that very first album, Potatoes in Space. Talk to me about that time.
That was a great time because, you know, the world was ours. We didn't have any hang-ups on over anything. It was us versus the world. With Dave came in as this sort of powerhouse songwriter, producer, lyrical genius, and he was great. He was a great encourager in those days. Some of the early material was, you know, really positive stuff, and I felt like we stood out against the sort of dreary, bedwetter, acoustic, snivelly, dribbly crap that was in the charts. And you'd get these cover versions, you know, like a classic old song when someone plays it really slow and like they're about to die as they're playing the song. And we were just like a breath of fresh air. Loads of energy on stage, great live band, killer albums, 40 minutes, boom, done, out of the door. And I miss those days because life was a lot more straightforward.
Other people have worked with big name producers. What about you guys? You worked with some big names?
No, we only ever had one producer. I mean, the thing is I don't really get on producers because I am a producer. You know, why do you need a producer when you are a producer? And I worked for years in a studio producing people's stuff. I still produce people's stuff. I still record people's stuff. In fact, in some ways, I've been more successful as a producer and as an engineer than I have just doing Space Potatoes albums. I've got 3 Space Potatoes albums. I've got like 40 albums out there that have been, you know, big in their own genre that I've produced. So the idea when the first Space Potatoes album was being done that we should go and work with a producer absolutely disgusted me. And, you know, we had a compromise. You know, Stefan was called in.
The wonderful French guy, Stéphane Cul-de-Sac, he's just an absolute visionary. Very nurturing if you've got the, you know, the red light syndrome and you're worrying about a take. He'll get the vibe in the studio right.
Well, let's see how music is being made.
But as things sort of progressed, Stefan was kind of superseded by Dave, who wasn't happy with how things were going.
Chris really liked him and liked what he did to his songs because, you know, Chris is one of these people that needs a producer. He's not a producer. He hasn't got the whole thing together. He just has a chord sequence and has some words, and you need someone to put it all together for him. I'm not that person. You know, I'm happy to just do it on my own and whatever.
I think he spoke to the engineer. I'm not sure. He got hold of the tracks on a hard drive, took them home, worked on them. Stefan still on our albums is listed as producer, but, you know, Dave is the producer.
This guy was doing some good stuff on Chris's songs and fucking ruining my songs. So I just took the hard drive and said, I'm finishing this off myself. And to be fair, that our first album was our most successful album. So because it did well, despite my interference, they call it interference, I call it fucking, you know, stopping it being a turd. And yeah, it sold really well. So no one's ever questioned me on that. I now fucking produce the albums.
Yeah, Stefan's great. You know, he's a guy you look forward to seeing. You just can't fault the guy. He's great.
So tell me about that breakthrough album, Potatoes in Space, because it's, you know, there's some really great stuff on that. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, I mean, it's all right. I mean, I never played on it, but yeah, it's all right. I mean, I'm only really a live drummer. I never really played one song on the first album, to be honest, which is pretty weird.
So, a lot of great stuff on the second album, Interplanetary Vegetables. Must have been a lot of fun to put that together and make that album. Can you tell me about
that? Again, I didn't play on it. Yeah, I didn't play on it. It's all Dave.
Okay. All right. Well, the third album, right? Tell me about that then. You've been in this band since the start. Tell me about the third album.
It's our third album. Doesn't mean I played on it. I've not played on any of the albums. Not one beat is from me, mate. Not one. I don't write any of the songs. I just get paid a standard wage, and just allows me to pay me bills and play with me trains.
But you're a songwriter, right?
After the success of my song in Germany, Dave wanted me to start contributing more towards the songwriting aspect.
Sound as they wash away with you.
And I just thought, nah, bollocks. You haven't wanted anything to do with me when it comes to recording on the albums, so I thought I'll just write you an absolute piece of shit.
He did well in Germany. Let's face it, Whitesnake are still doing well in Germany. Bon Jovi are still doing well in Germany. They are literally a cultural desert. It's just you release something and they go, yeah, I like this, oh, it's brilliant. He attempted to write something. I heard the song and I saw that he'd had some success, and I said to him, all right, fair enough, we're on our third album, and you've made your point, you've written a song and it's got some, so you can write, I'll give you a track, go on.
I can read it to you if you like.
Yeah, that's it.
Yeah, all right. I think you'll enjoy this. You'll always be second place, doesn't mean you are a disgrace. You'll never compare to my one true girl, even though she has put me through hell. If I need shares in Nurofen, I'd rather be alone again. If you miss me, I'll block your texts. All I want from you is sex.
And it was bullshit. He came back with something, and I know he tried his hardest. He really tried his hardest, but when he played it to me, I just didn't know what to say, and in the end I just left it to Chris to tell him.
We can meet up and go out on dates, but I'll always prioritise a night with my mates. If you give me a headache, I'll show you the door, 'cause I'm wise now as I've been hurt before. You may well have a great bumhole, but if I need shares in Tramadol to tolerate your fucking mouth, it's simple, get out of my house. How can I explain? I'm the one to blame. My heart capsized and now is sank. I'd rather have a fucking wank. So that's my contribution to Dave. Stick that in your pipe.
That's some song about birds or something, I don't know. You see, the thing is about Ricky is it's very derivative. When he writes something, it just sounds like every other fucking song that's out there on the planet. And when I write something, I want it to be as original as possible.
So listen, guys, spent the last couple of days on the phone to France and to Germany. Looks like the current dates are going to be postponed till potentially June or July. Now, when we've got something back from both, and we've got some other dates, and we know when we're going to be, we might have to get a mail shot out and get that out on social media so we can let the fans know ASAP.
Right.
All the tickets will still just be valid as they were.
Should be, yeah. We can bring them over.
Okay. And what do you think the chances of that actually happening?
Right now, it's all up in the air. People are going crazy over in Europe. At the moment, I'm a little bit worried, but we'll take it as it comes. The main thing we've got to do is just keep the fans in the know.
So have you had therapy before?
Not personally. I've not had therapy on a one-to-one level like this, but I was involved once in some group therapy with the band, which I I don't know if you know, I play in a band. I don't know if that was emailed to you. That I play in a band.
I don't know much about you at all at the moment.
Okay.
This is the point. This is the point of the assessment, just to see.
No, I just wondered if you
and...
recognised me. Do you know? Well, don't worry about that. Anyway, so it's a bit worrying.
Explain it to me.
So the band is effectively me and Chris.
Mm-hmm.
You've probably heard some of the singles. I mean, you've lived in England all your life. You can't have missed out on us. But anyway.
So you're well known?
Yeah, but we had a #1 single. Do you know the song 2020 Rendezvous? I'm glad you don't.
Hopefully.
It's a fucking shit song. It's a fucking shit. So
like
2020 Rendezvous, Chris is shit. No, that's not really the words.
2020 Rendezvous, you and me and you. 2020 Rendezvous, there's so much that we can do.
Talk to me about 2020 Rendezvous, this song then.
Right, 2020 Rendezvous was a kind of vision that I had that was, you know, people talked about the year 2000, and when it arrived it was just another year, and we were at this point 10 years into this new century, and I thought 10 years from now what would be possible with technology expanding all the time and all these amazing things with mobile technology and stuff like that. And I just thought that's going to be a utopia year.
I rang up Chris one day and I said to him, we need a song like Pulp's Disco 2000. I said that song was all about meeting up in the year 2000 and having fun.
To say that? Are you allowed
yeah,
to say
I'm
that?
allowed to say that.
Are you sure?
I don't see why not.
I just need to check for the tape, sorry.
No, I can say that because we didn't. It's not called Disco 2000.
We kind of went for this disco vibe, and it bore a resemblance to another well-known song that had a disco vibe to it. And unbeknownst to me, I'd used a similar chord sequence to a song by a band who was sued by someone else because it was similar to their chord sequence. So it was this multiple suing thing around this song.
And I said, as a joke, bit of tongue in cheek, you know, man, they must have loved that and cashed in on that when the year 2000 came around. Chris took that joke a little bit literally for my liking.
I just really love the song. It's incredibly infectious. You can put it on and people say, oh, I feel like I already know this. This is brilliant.
And he literally could not have got it more wrong. You know, he literally couldn't have fucked up any worse with those lyrics. You know, it's 2020 Rendezvous, you and me and you, no distancing between you, me and you, borderless like the EU.
Borderless like the EU. 2020 Rendezvous, no distance between me and you.
Fair enough, in 2010 you couldn't know any of that stuff was going to happen. We weren't imagining a Britain leaves the EU worldwide pandemic situation, but as predictions go, it's possibly the worst fucking prediction. I mean, I don't think Uri Geller could have got it worse if he'd written a fucking song.
It was our #1, and it's like the thing that if you're man in the street, you know, tell me about Space Potatoes. Oh, 2020 Rendezvous. Oh, God, you know, it's the thing we're known for.
That's the other annoying thing about it, is it went to #1. In fact, I've got the thing. Hang on a minute. Where did I put it? It's up here somewhere. Keep it in this just to stop the old prints and whatever like this. And this is from the official chart company for the #1. That way around. There you go. It says official chart company on it. And we got that for our #1. As you can see, the #1 is cut out in metal and. I could 3D print this now. It'd be much cheaper. And you can get metal 3D prints, so I might make up a few of these and let the other guys have one. But
we could do the 2020 Rendezvous tour. All the legal stuff's done, dusted now, and old ancient history. We can go out there and put on the best show we've ever done. We've pulled in some new guys on the crew. We could really, really, you know, raise the bar for our touring productions. But unfortunately now, we're not doing anything. I'm talking to you from home.
We was waiting for 2020 so that we could, you know, have a great tour and hopefully cash in, you know, 2020 Rendezvous. Well, Dave cash in. but it's all gone tits up.
He put so much stock into how great the world was going to be in 2020, and of course we get there with 2020 tour, and of course it all goes wrong.
It was fairly big, you know, we had about 110, 115 dates all around the world.
There's been huge losses. I mean, we're getting our accountants to try and make a claim against the insurance at the moment, and this is kind of beggars belief, really, because the insurance company are coming back to us and saying that you know, because of the circumstances, they're unable to. It's an uninsurable loss.
And it's like almost everything Chris has brought to the table in this band has been a nice idea, but it's gone wrong. Mm-hmm. And what has saved us? The fact that 80% of the stuff that's left over, probably 90, maybe even 98%, whatever, is mine. Because Chris's bad idea got to number one, people were like, oh, Space Potatoes, oh, that band with Chris in, and Dave. It's like, what do you mean, and Dave?
So you're the afterthought?
I can be to people that only know our number one single because he sung lead on it. It's like, you do an album and I sing lead on 9 songs and he sings lead on 3. I don't care what the general public thinks, but that's why I'm saying you might not recognise me from it, because if you're not into that scene and you only know our one big single, then you'd probably know Chris.
You seem offended that I may not know of you.
No, I mean, the reality is there's 7 billion people on this planet, and I think we've sold about 3.5 million albums across our 3 albums. So by my calculations, that's 7 billion minus 3.5 million that have not bought the album. I'm surprised that you don't know that hit, because everyone seems to know that hit, which is the bane of my life. If you say Space Potatoes, I say, oh, 2020 Rendezvous, and I think, oh, that shit song by Chris.
Where did the name come from? What's the deal there?
Well, I basically came up with the name one evening.
I think someone said space and someone else said potato. And I think the real genius behind the name is not the space or the potato, it's the fact that I pluralised it, I made it potatoes.
It kind of made the other chaps laugh, and we kind of made a joke about it, and then realised it was actually a great name, so.
It's almost like you add an ES at the end and man, the whole thing exploded. And then of course it was, we got signed and we got that. So there's a bit of me that does feel that you know, it is my creation.
I come up with a name, but I'm on a wage. That don't make sense.
You've been somewhat scathing in discussing your other bandmates tonight. How do you actually get on?
Scathing?
All right, brutally honest, mate.
I'm just honest.
Well, Chris is a lot more approachable. He's a nice guy. He's more approachable than Dave.
Hello, Chris.
I'm busy. Fuck off.
Dave is a bit up himself.
Can I get some passes for Sarah and Ben?
There's major dramas with that. You want to speak to Dean about it all.
Why is that?
Go and speak to Dean.
Well, I want to know. Where's Dean?
Well, I don't know what the exact.
Where's Dean?
He's out there somewhere.
Thanks, mate.
Well, what do you want me to go and fucking look as well?
I'm very much about being on my own and being in my safe place and not having anyone invade. Ricky's all right. I mean, Ricky's fine on tour. I don't really see him. He's either sleeping or eating. So
you read Dave when you wake up in the morning on the bus, and he rolls in the afternoon, and depending on what kind of night he's had, what kind of, you know, whatever he's been doing at night, it can affect the next day.
Chris can be really over enthusiastic on tour, you know, so like he gets really excited. Like when I get up mid-afternoon, he's been up since fucking 6 in the morning or whatever time he gets up, you know, usually when I go to bed, and then I'll come in the room and he went, Dave, there's this new guitar out, and he'll stick his phone right in front of my face and he'll be like that, and I'm like, hair over my face, I'm like, Chris, I've just woken up, man, you know, what are you doing? And yeah, that's quite hard, so he annoys me a lot.
It's just part of the relationship. Dave is Dave, and there's a lot of things that make Dave Dave, and a lot of people don't get that. And upon first meeting him, you think, oh, he's a bit off, he's a bit full of himself, isn't he? What's wrong with him? But that's the beauty of Dave, is all the little crazy things about him make him Dave, and I wouldn't be with him if he wasn't that way.
I mean, I just stay at the back, you know, I kind of keep out of the way, but them two, they're a bit chalk and cheese, you know. If Chris likes one thing, Dave won't like it, but if Dave likes one thing, Chris will go against it, sort of thing. So it's, you know, they're never on the same page, but I'm at the back. I stay out of all that shit.
They're all really, really good, but they're good at their things, and I'm really good at my things, and the list of my things is just happens to be a lot fucking longer than theirs.
If I've got a problem with Dave, I'll go and talk to Chris about it, and Chris will kind of stick up for me in a way, but I don't really approach Dave much. Yeah, bit of a cunt.
They're musicians, so they're all completely mad. But you know, dare I say, I'm a little bit mad myself. You know, I let all their nonsense wash over me. I know that if they're asking, if they're going crazy about something, I'll give it 2 days. If they come back, I'll know that it's serious and I'll have to do something about it. And if they don't, I know it'll just be another night on the, you know, on the reefers or the, you know, the doobies or whatever.
You know how Christians go around, God people go around with the wristband on saying, "What would Jesus do?" Right? And they say, "What would Jesus do?" Well, it was like virtual, because obviously I didn't have a wristband. It would cost too much to get a load of wristbands made up. But I kind of went around with a virtual wristband on that said, "What would Graham do?" Talking about Graham Coxon, you know, who is basically, there should be a religion formed around him. But
he was quite open to ideas, very Graham Coxon, which ticked all the boxes for me as a Blur fan. And I mean, you know, as much as I love Blur and stuff, I'm more of a Nirvana kind of guy. So
here we are in the middle of a pandemic, not knowing what's going on, and there are no audiences anymore. There's no need for rock stars in a world where there's no audience. And suddenly I feel like failed.
You're fake and a fraud.
What was that? Say it again.
You're a fake and a fraud.
No. Being childish, like a fucking playground.
What did you, Dave, just wait. I've got the kids here. Just hang on. Let me go into the music room and I'll put the laptop on, all right?
I'm fucking fuming. It can only be Kieran's not going to do it because, you know, he's not in the playground anymore. He's moved up the ranks to be prefect. It's just fucking ridiculous, man. It's fucking ridiculous.
What's gone on?
Well, basically, just telling me through one of his fucking jokes that I'm a shit version of Graham Coxon. That's what he's saying to me. He said, "You're a shit version of Graham Coxon," and that's just what I want to fucking hear after my therapist has just told me I'm a fake and a fraud, and now a fucking Northern Dwarf wants to find it funny to embarrass me.
Right, hang on. You've got a therapist, and what's he said?
He didn't say anything, right? He just changed my name on Zoom.
You changed your name on Zoom?
Yeah. He's got access somehow to my Zoom account because it's part of the Space Potatoes account. And he's
what's he changed it to?
Gravid Coxony Foul Up. Like Graham Coxon. Yeah, I know.
Well,
but
you know
shit,
like,
Graham Coxon. Like. Shit.
Yeah, but you know, how many times have you done things to him?
Yeah, but look, I know it's funny. I know I'm laughing a bit now, but still, it's professional, and that's when I do shit to him. Like, it's Facebook and it's on tour. It's not professional. It's not Zoom. It's not, you know, I'm not going on his fucking LinkedIn page and changing that or changing his website.
Yeah, but wasn't there a time when you fraped him and put about him and his wife expecting a baby, and they blatantly weren't? And then look what happened there. The knock-on effects of all that.
Fucking hilarious. That was funny, and it was just me saying he was pregnant. You know, he looks pregnant, doesn't
he? Yeah, he's you know, festively plump. But I mean, that was the knock-on effects of all that with his girlfriend and everything. Was just, you know, he lost the house. It was really serious.
He was going to lose the house anyway. It was only a matter of time.
Yeah, but you kind of give it a bit of a speed up, didn't you?
Well, you know, it was just I mean, some people haven't got a sense of humour, have they? Let's face it. Hi everyone, Dave
and Chris
from Space Potatoes here.
You probably heard the sad news by now.
Yes, my old mate Nick has decided to go keto.
He's gone full Jordan Peterson and cut the carbs.
He's pining for the protein.
Pining for the protein? What kind of talk is that?
He's given up the hash. Well, hash browns.
He is bereft of starch.
He's passed his consume-by date and gone to meet the compost.
When he was on tour, it was like, vroom, he was electrifying.
Now he wouldn't voom if you put 40,000 volts through him.
He's detuned his strings.
Unplugged his lead.
Slapped his last low E.
His channel's muted. If we hadn't nailed him to the stage, he would have left long ago.
He is an ex-potato.
Obviously, we're shocked by this decision, but we have to move on.
He's run down the curtain and joined
Chris,
the choir.
We've done the Python bit, mate. We've done it.
He'll be remembered in our hearts forever for his funny voice.
Hello. And his muscle-flexing dreams of being a model.
So in that spirit, we're asking all of you if one of you thinks you could be the next Hash Brown.
Do you want to become part of history and be important enough to get your own Wikipedia page?
Do you think you could handle the cramp-inducing bass line from 2020 Rendezvous?
You still want us to do that after everything that's happened?
Let's not do that now, Dave.
Anyway, if you've got what it takes to be our next potato-based snack in our side dish lineup, then send us a video.
Say who you are and play a bit of bass.
Tell us why you want to be in the band and why we should have you.
Show us how you play. Tell us about you.
And once we've picked some potential spicy wedges for us, we'll have an audition in person, probably by Zoom first.
And hopefully, you'll be oven ready for us.
Isn't that what Boris Johnson said about his Brexit plan?
I meant spicy wedges.
No? Hi, I'm Mike. I'm an experienced bass player.
Hi, my name is Joel Taylor and I'm 17 years old.
Hello, my name's Eric. I really want to show you what I can do, but unfortunately my amplifier has blown a fuse, so I'm going to have to play it unplugged.
Oh hi, yeah, my name's Natasha, so I can't really play the bass, but I'm pretty hot, so why wouldn't you want a hot girl in your band?
Here's wonderful.
Hi, my name's Latifa and I would love to apply for the bass guitarist position. I mean, I can't quite play the bass guitar, but I hear my friend Natasha is also applying and she can't play either, and more to the point, she's always slagging off Chris's wife.
Hi Space Potatoes, good to meet you. I'm a good buddy of your friend Kieran, or he's actually your manager. We were at public school together and I was actually a prefect. I won't say why they called him head boy, but at a public school I'm sure you can imagine why. Anyway, my name's Richard Devreux. A lot of friends call me Richie Roo, but my name's actually Devreux. And Kieran suggested that I send you a little video of me playing because I understand you're looking for a new bassist. At school with Kieran, I did master in classical music and Latin. Iam incipitibo facere facebo. I mean, I doubt you'll have much use for that in the band, but it's always good to know someone who can speak Latin. And your fabulous album, yes, 2020 Rendezvous. In fact, I've got it on in my car. It comes on after Ella Fitzgerald. It's actually one of my favourites. Really good stuff, guys. Yeah. Not quite as good as that, though. Let me say. Yes. Anyway, so I thought it'd be a good idea if I just. But one of your songs that I particularly like, I don't know if it's the Monday one or something, but it's got that kind of sometimes subtleties like that can really add something to a band. That's my firm belief, and I'm sure you'll agree with me too. I'm also a classically trained baritone singer, so if you needed backing vocals, I can of course provide those. I mean, I wouldn't even need a microphone. That's really good. That's very, very good stuff. It's from France as well, where I'm from, having the name Devreux, of course, you know. So I think I could possibly be the right man for your band. And I've grown a beard as well, thinking that it might suit your kind of crowd, you know, that kind of like denim-clad, sweaty blokes. I think that's really grooving. I've got ambiguous tuning at the drop of a hat. I assume you would have technicians on your shows that would tune the guitars. I'm a bit fussy about sweaty blokes touching my guitar anyway. Very skilled fingering. And if you ever wanted to do some kind of ethno rock, then again, I'm your man. Next thing you know, we'll all be touring around the country. I'm presuming there is some kind of luxury transport, and possibly I would travel separately because I have got a problem with breathing in air. So if anyone smokes or anything like that, you know, even if they drink fizzy beer near me, that does affect me. Yeah, I mean, I'm sure we'll get on like house on fire. I've got loads of jokes. That'd be great fun on the road. I'm a hit with the ladies, even though they don't really float my boat. They don't have to know that though, do they? You know, I can always bring them back, and then just when they think they're getting on with it, I can just pass them over to one of you. Yeah. Oh, also, by the way, if you like slap, bit out of tune there, but you know, I have been drinking this French wine. So get in touch, guys. Yeah, my email should come up as a thing. One of your technicians will sort that out, I'm sure. Bye.
What's going on with the gigs at the minute? Because I mean, you know, 1 minute we're in Germany, next thing we're back here in England. What's going on?
So the dates that we were supposed to be playing have now been rescheduled for June, July. So we're hoping to get back out then. I'm sure we will. I'm sure everything will be fine and get back to gigging and everything will be good. 2020 is cancelled. All gigs are going to have to be postponed until next year. Naturally, I'm working as hard as I can, trying to get in touch with as many promoters as possible to see what we can do. But right now, you know, bottom line is we won't be performing in 2020.
If you need to make some money, get the band out on the road. You can't get out on the road at the minute, though. So, you know, what's going to happen now? Yeah, really good question. And look, we do have some plans in place. So we're going to be releasing a best of the Space Potatoes, and I still think there's a market for that kind of product. You know, look. Forgive me, but whatever happens, we're not going to be able to make up for the loss of earnings on the live shows. But if we're able to put something out there that's fresh for our audience and remix certain songs in a different way, we're evolving our product and we're being able to distribute it in different channels. And as you can imagine, you know, I'm fielding phone calls left, right, and centre at the moment, trying to keep everyone on balance because we need to keep going. We need to just sit tight for a bit. You know, this is a difficult situation for everyone involved.
How does one keep going and sit tight? That sounds like two mutually exclusive instructions.
Yeah, but it's a situation I've been thrust into, Dave, and so sometimes my metaphors and sentences will fall awry. It's a tough situation for me. You know, I'm trying to keep everyone sweet.
I'm going to be working for him now, and he's asked me to keep a close eye on you.
Oh, well, you haven't got the experience. It's multi-drop and it's heavy work moving keys in a truck. I'm like, have you read what I've put on my flipping CV?
Would there be any way of getting like furlough, like some sort of payment just to keep me going?
He was quite ill with it, so we've just got to see how it pans out, really.
Cheers.
Is it disappointing?
In what way? Disappointing we're not on the road? Not really.